He says to Unwanted the left needs that slave labor and free votes. Yep, they'll do whatever they can, and they will spin it around and make it seem like their cheating is your bigotry.
What?
Yeah.
It's funny, you're such a good talker and you're such a likable guy.
Even that is underhanded. Even that is you're such a good talker and you're a likable guy. But I'm only saying that to cover up the fact that if anybody's listening and seems like they like what you're saying, that's all it is. You're just a good talker and a likable guy.
I think you really could go far. I mean, I must say, you're one of the few guys who I find both disarming and alarming.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
I would say thank you to that as well.
But like,
compliment.
No, I mean it. No, I mean, look, you're attractive looking, you're young. The country is, first of all, here's a big advantage you have. Biden and Trump, people hate this matchup, and they hate that there's two geriatrics. So you're like the most not that.
They're both,
and that's where, personally, I have a struggle, because I would love to be able to confidently vote for Vivek over Trump, knowing that he would win. But I don't see that as of right now. Of course, as every time I talk about this, there's a lot of time between now and election day. Vivek is clearly the better candidate. But Trump has such a strong base. So unless something happens where Trump is not able to run, and Trump says, guys, the only thing that we can do to fight the Democrats is to vote for Vivek, then I don't see him winning. I don't see him winning. And that sucks. That sucks because he's so good. Unwanted Foe said there's a big difference between being a Democrat or a liberal and progressive. The progressive movement is oppressive. The far left, much like the neo-Nazis, are the far right. Yeah, there's definitely a gradient, and there can be people who are, varying levels of grounded, varying levels of understanding, varying levels of having their finger on the pulse, regardless of where they are on that spectrum. And so, Bill's not that far down the spectrum. He's not super far left. He just doesn't know a lot. But I mean, again, he's an old guy who's got his situation. He's got his show, he's got his followers, and I'm not making an excuse, but it's understandable why he's just like, I know everything. I don't need to read anything. Just give me the cards. And I've been doing this for years. Okay. Like that's just who he is. So because unfortunately, until the left returns to a semblance of balance, it's all Nazis and it sucks. Let's not be hyperbolic. It's not all Nazis. We have to leave room for the understanding that people are willing to change, or people are able to change. They may not be willing to change, but we can get them to a place where they are willing to change. And as long as we have that avenue, then the war is not lost.
Over twice my age, literally. Yeah.
Right. And, you've got color in your face that's not either orange or, ghostly.
But
these are all.
There are older people who can be sharp, and there are younger people who have lost their wits. But I think I would like to think, and, I think so far we're having fun in this, bringing a young spirit to running the country. Even when I think about the cabinet, this is neither here nor there, but when I was running my companies, one of my philosophies was, even in the industries that I was in, right? So the first industry was the biotech industry. The median age at our company for the biotech industry was young in terms of the people who work there. And for me, at least, and this is the way I would run the federal government. It might be different for other people in the way they built their companies. But for me, I tend to find that people whose peak in their career is still yet ahead of them. I'm not going to say young or old, because there could be people who are advanced in years whose peak is still ahead of them.
Yeah.
But somebody, whoever it is their peak is ahead of them versus somebody who actually has a great resume. But by definition, if you have a great resume, it means you've accomplished great things. By definition, if you've accomed great things, for many people, that means that chances are your peak might be behind you and you're obsessed with talking about that.
What did I say? What did I say when originally I heard Trump starting to talk about, the presidency and stuff? All of it was about the 2020 election. He makes a fantastic point that even if you have an amazing resume, that means that your best days are likely behind you. If you're some young buck who, has some good stuff there, has demonstrated that you can be a successful businessman, that you can run a company, that you can do this, you can do that, you can go on all these different shows, all these different platforms, and come out of them unscathed, but you don't have a long resume, then probably your best days are ahead of you. which is what we should want. I like that. Not all Nazis, just some of them are commies. And Two Dad says, don't forget about the sovereign citizens. They think laws don't apply to them. Oh man, I don't know where that came from. I don't know how people, because like I've seen videos of like the cop interactions with these sovereign citizens, and you'll be like, I'm not driving, I'm traveling. Okay, I'm not a person who like whatever. And it's like, do you think there's just this magic word, this magic phrase that you can say that the laws don't apply to you anymore? I mean, no, you can win an election and be the president, and then the laws don't apply to you anymore. But just saying I'm a traveler, not a driver, doesn't mean shit.
Boy, do we accomplish a lot more with people whose peak is still ahead of them. So my campaign, fully staffed by young people. My campaign manager is younger than me. You know, talk about the way I've built my companies. So for the federal government, when I think about my cabinet,
have some older
we're going to do the
people.
same. A few.
Why?
A few, of course.
You know, they're
and you can see that Bill is now just in the trying to win the argument stage of this conversation. You know, I always say, stop trying to win an argument and just have a conversation. Vivek is presenting an idea that younger people have value in the sense that they are not stuck in their ways and so on and so forth. And all Bill can say is, well, you need some older people. Like, bro, what are you here for? What are you here for? What are you here for? Zippy says, sovereign citizen is the original TDS and do not understand the law. Fair enough. I want to post that the day people stop treating the presidential election as a popularity contest is the day our society will be ready for colonizing space. I tend to agree with that, but only in the sense that if that's what it takes, then we are never colonizing space. That's just what it is. It's a popularity contest. There is no other way around it. And that's why, you know, early on, if some of you guys remember, somebody asked me, what do I think matters more in politics? Is it policy or is it emotions? Is it policy or is it feelings? I believe is the actual phrasing used. And at first I was like, of course, policy. This is, we need to have the right policies. But then I was thinking about it. I was like, actually, it really does come down to how people feel about things, doesn't it? And it's true. It's just about how people feel. And that turns into a popularity contest. So I'm right there with you, but don't hold your breath, brother. Shout out to Ezekiel. Welcome to the party. Said, Bill made himself look like a clown. Vivek at least showed respect. Absolutely. He's and just like every other appearance that he's done, he is getting all of the BS thrown his way, and he's just ducking and dodging and doing an amazing job. Welcome to the party, brother.
Every society,
but it will lean young.
You're
it will
from
skew young.
You're from an ancient culture that seemed to understand, like most cultures in the world, the village elders.
Yes.
You know, Confucianism in China, like most countries revere the elders for their wisdom. It's true. You have a great amount of energy at 38. You're super smart, but I do see something that alarms me, truly.
Fair enough.
Because you don't have the wisdom about certain issues.
Oh, and you do, Bill? And Biden does? Come on, bro.
Come on, man.
I don't think you think Trump lost the election.
Well, I think that big tech interfered. You and I have talked about this like a year ago.
What the fuck does that matter?
I want to say...
What do you mean, what the fuck does that matter? What do you mean, what the fuck does that matter? If he lost the election, but he would have won had the tech companies not censored the laptop story, which is, I don't know if it's verifiably true, but the polling says enough people would have changed their vote that Trump would have been the president. So what do you mean, what does it matter? That is the crux of the issue. That is why Biden is our president.